He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Get the duck boats ready. After 39 long years, the Cup is back home. The Bruins are 2011 Stanley Cup champions.
Back to full. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Anything's possible!
What is up? What is up, everybody? You know what it is. It's me, Brady McGrath, here with my co-host, Cam Garrity. Today, we're doing something a little different because Brendan
a little different.
It's a little different.
It's a little
Today,
bit.
we got two special guests. We got Brandon Bubba Creedor. How you feeling, Bubba?
I am feeling fantastic, folks. Happy to be here.
And we got Bobby, the Wolfman McBroom.
Broom.
How you feeling today, Bob?
I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
And Cam, I saved it. How are you today?
Dude, I am feeling round as a clown.
Round as a clown.
Yeah, dude.
Usually they don't hire the big ones because they need to be high energy in the circus, but
Yeah, they had to get an
keep you
extra
around
size
just
cannon
fine.
to fit me in. They couldn't have just like a normal size.
yeah, they had to get like the double, like the industrial
Boom!
one that they shoot
That's just the
mortars
sound.
out of.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So hey, we're back. We've taken the past week and a half off.
Yeah.
Mostly so we can get a little like creative break and get everything together.
Feeling a little burnt out, and sports weren't really on, so I kind of think we all needed to take a little bit of a break, just kind of figure out our own shit. Summer was starting to come up, so like we're trying to figure out the whole like half normal that we're getting back to, like not the full normal. Everybody like wanted to go do some things, go away on the weekends, so. And also the computer crashed the last episode, so that's why we missed the one before. That kind of like demoralized all of us because it was probably our best episode, and then like right as we're about to literally like get to the good part, like 45 minutes in, my computer just freezes and everything like explodes, and we lost it. So like
we were literally like 45 minutes into an episode.
Yeah. Best episode we've probably like obviously everybody's gonna say, oh, it was the best one, but literally was the best one. So.
Yeah. But now we're back.
Hey Bob, you gotta turn your mic up a little bit there, bud.
Gotta speak
it is
up.
like it's like peaking whenever anybody else talks. But today we are going to be talking about hockey because, as you can tell with Bob and Bubba here, the signs in the background and everything there. The NHL is back, new 22 team format. Bobby, I know you've been wanting to talk about this for a while. You want to let us know like what your thoughts are coming back, just instant reaction to everything going on.
How do I sound? Am I good?
Yeah, you got to talk like that.
Beautiful.
You got to make sure you talk like that.
All right.
Like a mix of Fergie and Jesus.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, given the circumstances we have been given, I think the playoffs looks fantastic. Whether the winner gets half the cup, just the top of the cup, whatever it may be, I think it's legit. I think people have to realize what has happened to the NHL season. The guys are excited to be on the ice. I saw Marchand and Bergeron first day they were allowed on the ice. They were on the ice. What other guys were on the ice?
Exactly.
Who else?
I've seen Chara ripping it. Chara's been ripping and sticking it recently. I've been getting fired up for that. He needs it.
Coming out to be first of all, the President Trophy winner never wins ever. Oh, my connection's unstable. But they always
No.
they never win.
It's just
Now it doesn't
Yeah, your
even
connection's unstable, just like my bed frame.
Oh my god. You're a dad. You're supposed to fix that. You're supposed to have that on a leash, buddy.
Oh, it is. You should see it right now. I'm not even joking. It is like screwed into things that should not be.
It's tied up to the wall.
You put up the swing yet? You get inspired from Chara's Instagram post of his like little bed frame.
Yeah, I put in a swing, dude. Got to put the mirrors on the ceiling too.
Oh yeah.
Bubba, what are your thoughts coming back hockey?
All right, so here's my point. At this point, I'm getting to be a real partial Rangers fan because they're doing my boy Henrik Lundqvist wrong, and this is fucking ridiculous. He's a great goalie, and they're just fucking kicking him in the rib like this. He needs to go somewhere, and I hope he goes somewhere good. If he goes to the Bruins, I'm gonna become a Bruins fan, like the hardcore Bruce fan, if he plays, because Tuukka fucking sucks, and he's gonna play over him.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
So anyway,
as a day one Rangers fan.
So anyway, but here's the thing:
understands.
before Corona and everything, the Rangers, I believe, were not in a playoff spot.
No.
So like they were kind of grinding back to one, but like they were on a good hot streak at the end. So now they kind of gifted a playoff spot. And here's the thing: these guys have been on a break, and like on a break like no other. Like when you're on a break for the Olympics or something like that, you're still playing hockey, you're still with people. But because of Corona, like most of these guys most likely have not played with each other in months. The chemistry's gonna be all fucked up between everybody. Most likely, I might be wrong. So in a way, it's almost like a tournament of just everybody to just see who can snap it together quickest.
Yeah.
And like low key, I don't know who could win. And like if the Rangers were to win, it just kind of feels weird because it's like I don't know if they would have actually made the playoffs if the season maybe continued. We don't know. So we
I
could
think
see,
if any team
possible champion of just a really weird team.
I think if any team that wasn't in the playoffs wins or goes deep,
dude, like the Maple Leafs are in it all of a sudden.
But
like,
if you notice it, like
gonna be?
the thing is what people were saying is like you can tell the NHL definitely did their stats and we're like, we have 4 original 6 teams that we can now let into the playoffs. We should probably recoup our money.
I mean, that's another good thing right there too. But like,
there's like
a lot that could possibly happen.
I think besides Detroit, right? Detroit didn't get in, right?
Detroit didn't get in.
No, they were like dead last. See, I completely still agree with this big format. I have no problem with it. I'm just saying it's kind of sketchy.
Do we like
in a way?
Do we like this moving forward? Right. So I was talking about this with kind of the NBA. I was thinking about it is. If they do the 1 through 16 rather than conferences, I'm a big person of like get rid of the conferences, right? Put the 16 best teams in the league. And now if they expand, which they are going to bring a Seattle team, if they do get to 32 teams, I think you should have 24 teams in the playoffs and just seed it 1 through 24. I think that's the best chance to make money for these organizations, and it's also the best chance for you to see competitive hockey, right? Because even though there's a bunch of shitty teams, like you don't, as a fan, if your team misses the playoffs, you tune out 90% of the time. Like you're like, I don't really like Stanley Cup playoffs is another level, and you're gonna watch it. But like most casual fans, which is what the NHL is trying to do, is they're trying to turn casual fans into diehard fans. They're trying to get people to watch their game because let's face it, they're not the most watched in America right now. It's a very regional.
It's
niche
pretty
sport.
much a playoff sport. Like they get good playoff ratings, but that's like their.
And then it's also a lot of the teams that would get good viewership in the playoffs. Like the more and more we think about it, there's a lot of teams that would get good playoff viewership, right?
Yeah.
And one of them, and it's one of them to say it, is the Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
They snuck in at a 500 record because of this format, but Canadians fans are psychopaths. We know this. We've had to play against them plenty of times.
Exactly.
So and they love their hockey. They love watching it. Rangers fans, psychopaths. They're there for it. For some reason, the fucking Panthers have been grinding up, and now they're in. People are starting to get behind the Panthers.
Panthers have some crazy fans too.
I know, and that's what I'm saying.
I think they could collect for playoffs 100%.
I think so too. They have a nice little team behind them, and when you look at it more and more, again, like you said, it's who can snap it together. Because these guys don't have the chem. So if one team pulls together, like shit, if Julian puts together a great play, if he puts together a good plan, and the Canadians make a run, I wouldn't be surprised because
it's kind of
anybody's game.
It's leveling the playing field for sure. Like because now all these teams are off on an even footing.
The thing too is like these just the differences is playoffs is just longer now. It's just more training because like here's the thing. So we all know the intensity is just like super paced up for playoffs. So it's like you're gonna have like these probably like highly differentiated seeds sometimes, but they're like just absolutely gonna be dog battles. And like teams are gonna get worn out. Like you could have crazy cup champs every fucking year. It's just gonna be a legit like marathon to see who can survive.
my issue with teams, right, like I said earlier, is expanding the playoffs, right? Let's say they do this and just get rid of the conferences, right, and seed everybody 1 through 24, 1 through 32, whatever it is, right? Whatever they decide to do in the future. Maybe it's 22, maybe it's 20. The only issue I have with that is then the regular season is then pointless, because if like 90% of the teams are just going to like literally skate by because they're just naturally talented on paper, like nobody's going to have to try to win those games like throughout the season. They're just going to kind of coast, like they're going to do what they have to do against the shitty teams.
Well,
and,
yeah,
like,
but
everybody's going to make the
that's
playoffs.
fine. That's pretty
fine though, because then if you're a lower tier team, you're gonna get the priority of getting a better pick.
I mean that's what regular seasons do in a way.
Yeah.
It's everybody coasts. They play to a
There's
peak.
gonna be
They kind
more
of get there, and then
coasting.
towards
Like
the end,
the Bruins don't need to just like the Bruins have just been pure.
But see, here's the thing though. Teams aren't just gonna give up games though. That's the thing with like hockey. Is like just because like more teams get let in, you're not gonna see lower competitive levels. You know what I mean?
I think if it's one sport, hockey is the one to do it. Like it's the one that is the most competitive. Like I guess if you made that in the NBA, where you're like, hey, because I think the NBA has been talking about that too, and I know it's like a little bit of a sidestep here, but I know the
NBA.
NBA has been talking about it and been like, hey, we want to do 1 through 16, get rid of the conferences, and just play like a March Madness tournament. If hockey goes down that road, I don't think, now that's thinking about it now, is I don't think they will be that same way. I think it would be, you'll see actually more competition because people are going to want better seeds to play the worst teams.
Yeah.
You want to know what that's going to do, though, is because it's like a bigger, like including more teams, you're going to get more teams that maybe usually aren't in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen is like all the locals and stuff are going to be like, oh, my God, I can see like playoff hockey like in my city, and like they're gonna start going and like packing the bar, and they're gonna be like, holy shit, this is an experience. And then after that they just start getting more and more fans, and they rock the house. Maybe they lose one year, but then you have all those fans that for some reason just gained a heart like with the team that season. That's what happens. You get a team that makes a little run, you're like, holy shit, let's try to get further the next year, and then maybe the team makes moves, and then they get more fans. That's pretty much what it's about too.
And that's the kind of
like a new opportunity to see.
Honestly, I hate to compare it
hockey in Florida.
I hate to compare it to anything.
Tampa when they got fucking swept.
But like, you look at like soccer, right? Like you look at like the World Cup and everything like that. Like how there's a ton of teams that are just in the play. I am a huge person on like, if you're gonna have a regular season, you have to, and then you're gonna move to a playoffs. You can't let everybody in, because at that point, like, there's no point of having the regular season, because if you're just gonna play a tournament, you should just have, a month of like scrimmages and then get right into the playoffs. And maybe you do it for seeding. Like, there's no point to do that. But my thing is like, there's 31 teams right now, right? I know the league's back. This is something I've actually been thinking about. So
32 soon.
It's gonna be 32 with Seattle. So my question for you guys is, where do you think, like, what do you think the team name is going to be? And do you see any notable players in the league right now that might headline that roster when they do the expansion draft?
Ooh.
Bob, what do you think?
That's a good one.
You had to start with
one.
Yeah, you've been a little quiet over there. Dude.
I don't even know what the names are. Like,
what's
they might be.
We don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I'm like, what would if you were in the driver's seat, right? You can take a second to think about this. If you were in the driver's seat, right, and you were, Seattle ownership, right? Obviously, bringing the team back to Seattle. This kind of goes to my point later in the episode I wanted to talk to when we do our rapid fire, but I guess I'll ask it now. Is like, if it wasn't Seattle, I'll make it even more interesting. We know it's going to be Seattle. If we can't think about the team name, it's going to be, what would be either a franchise you bring back, a city you want to bring a team to that maybe doesn't have one? Would you stick with Seattle? Would you go with, like, bring another team to Hartford? Like, what would you do?
I like Seattle. I like Seattle as an area, mostly for a new hockey team, mostly because there is so much recently that has been going on, like, in sports there, that I feel like them getting a soccer team would be even better. It's like, of course, getting a hockey team. I was about to say their soccer team has been super successful. The Seahawks have always been successful.
They're also bringing an NBA team when they open up the stadium. They've already talked about bringing
exactly. They want to bring an NBA team back.
Stadium,
I feel like Seattle getting this team right now is a massive step, especially for the economy of
it's gonna
Seattle.
be huge.
I think it goes
And
hand in hand. Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
Do you think you know who is gonna in that locker room to carry on to your next question? You know who I think could head to Seattle? Matt Murray, because their Pittsburgh's backup goaltender has had a year this year.
Right. Or hey, think about this. Henrik Lundqvist.
Nah, they'll
Hank too. But see, here's my thing about Lundqvist. I feel like he might retire as a Ranger if like no one wants him. Like if he doesn't go to somewhere, like if he can get a cup contender, I think he might go. But if not, I feel like he might just retire.
Yeah, hold on.
Side note to all of our loyal fans. To all of our loyal fans,
exactly.
If you want Bobby back on the show, get this man a mic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yo, donate, buy some merch.
ESPN. I'm gonna read the ESPN article on this NHL on the NHL expansion. So here's some of this is an article by ESPN back in March of some of like the rumored names that have been thrown around. Once I can get this kind of loaded up, there's some fucking weird ones on here. I was like scrolling through. So we have the Seattle Kraken as one of them.
I saw
that. Seattle Kraken HC. So it'd just be like hockey club.
Hockey club, yeah. Like hockey club.
I fuck with that. No.
Seattle Sockeyes.
I like the Sockeyes. I like that a lot. I don't know what it.
We have the Seattle.
Like
the
imagine
Seattle
a dude
sea
in a fucking
Lions.
salmon suit, just, like going nuts.
Yeah.
Like
we have the Seattle Sea Lions.
No.
Seattle Metropolitans. That's so stupid.
No.
Seattle Steelheads. No.
Sockeyes,
Seattle
bro.
Renegades.
Ew, no.
Seattle Totems.
My friend Squidward in a salmon suit.
Yo,
and then they have Thunderbirds, Firebirds, Emeralds, Seattle Grunge, and then
you think
Seattle
they'd ever bring
Fastball.
back like an old team, maybe with like that name, like just be like the Seattle Nordiques or like the Seattle Braves or something like that?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, or like if they brought the Whalers or something. Like I like wouldn't.
Well, like
be
the Whalers are
surprised.
kind of in Carolina, like they rep that
Yeah,
jersey though.
true.
So
Yeah.
it's like it'd be weird to do that
would
to
be.
them because
It would be.
Team in
like,
Connecticut, some good side point.
I would say this. I wouldn't expect Seattle to do that, but I would expect a franchise in the near future that hasn't had success in their markets start moving and maybe go to Hartford or going to Quebec. Like, I feel like that's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Because
you see another team like
what's that, Bob?
Could you see another team maybe down south, like in Texas, maybe, like besides Dallas?
I feel I feel like I maybe not Texas, but I feel like with with a lot of the advocacy that like someone like Austin Matthews has coming from New Mexico and he's a Latin American, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I was gonna say that too. Would we ever see a team other than even more south, maybe even in like Mexico City? I know that's been rumored in other sports.
You definitely could, but I feel like that one would be a little more difficult.
It would be hard to sell in Mexico, 100%.
I think it would be very hard to sell in Mexico, but I mean, with a lot of the things, like I was listening to, it was a while back. It was when they had Austin Matthews on for one of like the Spit and Chicklets.
Yeah.
And they were talking to him, and he was talking about like how him growing up in New Mexico and him having to like play hockey and how it's such a small market, but it's getting bigger and bigger for kids now. Mm-hmm. It's like something like that could definitely like even give like the state itself some sport hope.
Yeah. So I mean,
he models the mustache off, folks.
So there's a lot of things out there, right? Where these are rumors that have been happening over the last couple of years. Is that some of those teams that could move could be the Carolina Hurricanes, could be the Coyotes, could be the Panthers, could be the Islanders even. Like I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, honestly, like if you're gonna move a team, I wouldn't be surprised if it were someone like the Islanders have them move to.
Didn't they just build? They're building a stadium.
Yeah,
they're building a new arena.
Is it? It's
right
not
now.
shared though, is it?
Islanders. They are
I
diehard
don't
fans
know.
over there.
But see, I feel like I'd rather take the Panthers because, like, why do you need two teams in Florida in like kind of like a weird climate in like
I
state?
think that's
Like,
always
I
been the
don't
same thing with me. Is like Florida has always been a team
like
where
Tampa.
I thought,
Tampa's Florida's team. Like everybody from Florida is probably like, yo, Tampa, because they're actually fucking good.
yeah.
So like,
It'd be one thing though if Florida was like considered like Miami something, because like the thing is that sucks is like you have a team named after an entire state. It's like the same thing with like the Arizona like Coyotes. It's like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like let's go back
they
to
should have
Phoenix.
kept it,
like,
dude.
yeah.
They should have kept it Phoenix.
It should have
bro.
been
It was
Phoenix.
way better.
It should have
Yeah,
stayed.
dude. Bro, I remember. I was in the RMV one day. I was like getting my fucking my license, and I look at the screen. It was like, fun fact, like the Arizona Coyotes. I was like, Arizona, it's Phoenix. 10 minutes later, I go on my phone. It's like team announces name change. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Like, what
the
is
RMV
this?
was on top of their shit before you were, dude. Come
No
on.
shit. I was like,
When have they
how did
ever
I
been
miss
quick
this?
with anything?
I know, right?
Are
Like,
you sure it was 10 minutes?
Dude, yeah, literally, mother. No wonder why I had to wait like 2 hours in there because this motherfucker's fact checking the names of all the NHL teams.
Yeah. Dude, I'm sitting there and I'm like, when that happened too, honestly, it's not one of those things where you're like, where were you when? It was, but like, I remember reading that and like my first instinct was like, whatever. And then 5 minutes later, I felt it creep up on me. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, no,
I hate it
no.
off the tongue, like Arizona.
It's gross.
Coyotes.
Yeah, it's
like
awful.
it just.
So let's say they go back to Phoenix, right? Let's say it doesn't work. They go back to Phoenix, right? Coyotes. That's still a good market in Phoenix, honestly.
Absolutely, dude. I love Phoenix.
So the Panthers, right? Let's say Seattle comes and they're the Seattle. What was the name we decided? What are we decided on this show?
I like the Sockeyes.
I like the Sockeyes.
I feel like,
Let's
dude,
do
I just feel like
Sunday,
that
huh?
would be hilarious if you just have like the Seattle team, blah, 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 because it's massive with them because the fish market, fish markets are wild. So it's like you just have some dude just rocking out in a salmon suit.
Yeah,
like,
but how
he
funny
shows
would
up
it
to
be if you
Philly
just
and
had
fights
some
like
like
It's like the
you had some like
Nashville
bonehead
fish.
guy? He's just wearing like socks on his eyes, like he's just like, oh, it's Sockeyes. He's like hammered like in the
like
thing.
that would be like the fan base.
Yeah.
Like,
But so we'd have them, and then all right. So this is my now question for you guys. So we've decided Florida's also in a shitty spot. If you were to take Florida and move it, I want each one of you to give me a location. So starting with Bobby, where are you moving the Panthers?
Yes.
starting with Bobby, where are you moving the Panthers?
He just looks at the camera and goes, yes.
No, I didn't hear the question.
Dude, your mic is
You
incredible.
cut out. My connection is awful.
Where
Yo,
would you move the Panthers?
Me and Mike in a somebody buy me and Mike in a computer.
Going to Creedor, where would you move the Panthers?
Dude, that's honestly a really good. I'm trying to think of like
man.
just big cities that are like just like up and coming.
You could also think about Canada too. That's the thing. Like, it
Oh,
wouldn't hurt
true.
to have
Like,
another
yeah.
Canadian team. It's
Dude,
not like
I'd
the
go-
NFL.
Yeah, true. I always looking never think about that. I'd probably put one in because we got one in Toronto, we got one in Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Am I forgetting
Montreal.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Vancouver? That's in what province
British
is that?
Columbia.
That's in Vancouver. Yeah, British Columbia. Where are we missing one? I feel like the east.
Newfoundland?
What's that? Newfoundland. Yeah. But I feel like that's just
Newfie?
like up in New fucking North
That's like
Bumfuck.
that's like a Martha's Vineyard type place. It's like
It's
not
not
like
like
it's like a
'Cause that's
it's
what
like
I'm
New
trying-
England. Like you have one, you could have a team, but like you don't necessarily need one right now. Like,
that's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying
a
to think of
Vermont or
like a
something.
just like a big city areas like because what's near Minnesota like Michigan,
Wisconsin.
like a Wisconsin maybe Michigan. I
Green
feel like
Bay?
hockey's like Michigan. No, because they have fucking
Detroit. They have Detroit.
yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be
It's
like
kinda-
Alaska, bro. Ooh.
I
Definitely need
just-
an Alaskan
no,
team.
No, I just because you already have what one team in Cali.
So
right?
that would be me. Would you
two
need it?
teams.
You have San Jose.
And the LA Kings.
And the Kings, yeah.
Oh, and no, that's Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
They
That's
in
LA.
LA, right?
Yeah, Anaheim's in
Or
LA.
somewhere.
Same area. Anaheim and LA are the same
So
thing.
they have 3 in LA, not in LA, in Cali.
I mean, what about like? I mean, there's also you could say like Greater Toronto area. What about like Houston?
Hamilton.
Imagine
maybe?
imagine putting a team in like Houston.
With the Texans already.
Yeah,
yeah, I could possibly see that. What's
you can make a large market with that.
Is there a Houston basketball team?
Yeah, the Rockets.
Yeah, Rockets.
Rockets.
Houston.
So you could probably have an arena right there.
Yeah, you run it in that arena. Even what about
Because I'm just trying to think of like big city places where it'd be. Because see, like here's the thing: like you look at a place like Louisiana where they have like all the football shit, and it's crazy. But like
nobody would watch
hockey. That's the issue. Yeah. You got to think like the market, and it's just like you try.
Especially if you're moving the Panthers out of that market.
Yeah, you're trying to think of all the states that would have like places interested without bulking up all the hockey teams. Like, I mean, I know Minnesota's a massive fucking hockey state, so like. Maybe you could put another team somewhere.
Would I be crazy to say Indy? Is there one around there? Would I be crazy to say Indy?
There's no team in Indy, but it wouldn't hurt.
Because think about it this way. We went to Indianapolis. We've seen Indianapolis. The way that place is set up is already so perfect for sporting events.
Yeah.
Because they have Lucas Oil.
It could be a place.
And then right down the street, you have the arena where the Pacers playing. You can put the hockey team right in there.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
They had a fuck ton of land around there too.
That's what I'm saying.
You could even put a rink if you wanted to in that area.
Yeah, there's areas like there's space, like all the mills and shit they've had to close, and all the buildings that aren't like around the surrounding area. Like, go for it.
So Brady, before I give you my point, don't know if this is kind of a little bit of a breaking news kind of thing. But it's for the COD League. The Mutineers have beat FaZe 3-1 in the grand finals.
That's wild. That's actually crazy.
Big wake. Oh, if anybody knows who that is, the guy there.
That's actually really massive for that team.
But yeah, so back to what I was saying. If I were to put it in a location, right, Alaska would be a huge fit. However, the population isn't as big as it should be. If they had a little bit more population in Alaska, that would be perfect. Because you'd have another West Coast team, nice cold weather.
Just like
there's no people. Though.
I feel like it's just too barren. Like over there.
That's what I mean. Like so nobody lives there. So
is Anchorage big? Like
I don't know. I mean, their population as a state is not that massive. So like that's the thing. They have a lot of land, but there's not a lot of ton of people that live there. If it were up to me,
their population of a state is 731,545.
They wouldn't have.
So Anchorage has 291,000 people.
I wouldn't be honestly though. I wouldn't be surprised if of those 291,000, 250,000 like hockey. Like I would not be surprised if they're forced to be fans of the Vancouver Canucks because it's the closest team to them.
True. They have a fucking zoo down there. If that team riots, they're letting out fucking tigers. They're called fucking Tiger King, bro.
So I would also to kind of get back really quick to where I would put a team. I don't know if I would put another New England team just because of the pull that the Bruins have, but
I just don't know what state you'd put in.
I honestly like as weird as it is, like Portland, Oregon wouldn't be bad either. Put a team.
Maine?
Well, I was gonna say put a team in Portland, Oregon.
No.
Bob said Maine. Portland wouldn't be bad either. That's a good market for hockey there.
I mean, yeah,
they could put it right with the Trailblazers. You know, like,
true. But I feel like in that respect,
bro, do you guys have mad fireworks like near your houses?
Sometimes I can hear them.
Like there's mad fireworks happening on.
We live in the same house. We live in the same town.
In Saugus, mad fireworks been going off. Then last night, we went to sleep over Sarah's house. There's somebody's just lighting fireworks off all night. Every time I get close to falling asleep, just like bah 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 bah.
Dude, I'm waiting for one of these. I'm waiting for one of these to fly through Bubba's window, like on camera right now.
I saw a tweet, bro. I saw a tweet today on Twitter. It was like I've never seen something more accurate. It was literally, Okay, do we
literally
all
hear them.
collectively have that one dude shooting fireworks in the neighborhood every night? Yes, I do. And 132,000 people agree.
Proof we're all living the same life.
Yeah, dude, it's proof that life is just a simulation.
bro. We live in flat Earth.
It's just a simulation.
Oh my god. So,
and back to sports.
So for hockey coming up right now, right? I think it wouldn't do us any good to sit here and make predictions on who we think's gonna win, because honestly, like, I just want to watch it rather than trying to be like, well, if you look at the forecheck of this team and this team with their 6 defensemen, like, I can't do that right now because everybody's on an even playing field. But what I can do is, we were talking about Seattle, we were talking about moving Florida. If there was one rule change in the league, or one thing that you've been just waiting for, like whether it's a brand new idea you have, what would it be? Like, is there something that the NHL needs to do to kind of take that next step out? Like, we've talked about it in baseball, like adding the DH to the other league and, like, you know, making changes to the pace of play. Like, is there something in the NHL that you feel they should be adding? Or even if it could be something as a new team or a change in playoff format or something?
I would add video replay on all penalties.
Video replay on all penalties.
100%.
Oh no, God no.
Yes, 100%.
Nah, that would
on most
be
penalties.
I would,
bro. Most would be mad easy. So like whoever's working the clock just like has, or like in the booth just looks at it real quick, and 99% of penalties gonna be like, okay.
What if they get one a quarter?
Bro,
one
but think about all those games. Think about fucking think about the Vegas Knights, bro, in the playoffs last year. That dude who just fell over, and they gave him a fucking 5-minute major, and they legit lost.
So what if they did challenges? What if they allowed you to have one challenge per period on a penalty?
I mean, I'm down with that because like it'll show it in the stands and shit. So I'm down for that then.
I feel like a challenge. I feel like a review on all penalties. Like they already missed so many.
And if you fail the challenge, as an incentive, right? You not only do you get whatever penalty that you were trying to get. So if you challenged a minor, it immediately becomes a 5-minute. If you're wrong.
Because then it would turn into a delay game.
Yeah, and then it would be a delay game for that person.
I rather do like a 4-minute minor, like a 4-minute power play, not a 5-minute major.
Yeah,
but like I could see that being like a 4-minute minor.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing. Brady, what about you? If there's a change in the league, whether it's a playoff formatting, bringing a new team in, getting rid of conferences, whatever it might be, any kind of idea, like one big thing that you're like, I wish the NHL would do this, separate from what Bubba did.
I think the great mind of John Tortorella, I'm going to speak from the GOAT himself. Overtime hockey is 3-on-3 until another man dies. Like, that's straight up. Those are an exact word from that GOAT of a man.
Yeah, I'm honestly down for 3-on-3. But 5-on-5 is so great, but 3-on-3
is so great. But then, like, I don't... Like, imagine, like, overtime. Imagine just throwing out the 3-on-3. You're throwing out your 3 best just to... Whew.
I know.
Put the nets down. You have to play.
And at the same time, but I know. But then you just lose those like fucking quadruple overtime games, and those are just the best games.
And that 3 a.m. games you stay up.
Yeah, bro. Like I'd miss the, like those are the playoff games, the ultimate marathon.
You know what I mean? Like it's not baseball, so like when you get free hockey, it's nice. But like when you get free baseball, and you're in the 19th inning, it's like a snooze fest.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck. But like hockey, it's like second OT.
You're on
it's
your
like
edge.
Holy shit, I'm not going to bed. Like let's go, baby.
Give me another monster.
Like get on your fucking horse,
Bobby.
Horse and rule.
Bobby, what about you? What's your change?
I need to go get a margarita.
I need to relax on the what was I gonna say? The penalty.
Go get a margarita.
What's the hooking? They need to not call as many hookings because it's getting ridiculous.
Well, Bob, you don't like hookers?
No, love it.
So
zinger.
I would say for me, for my thing to now, this is a weird thing because it's kind of out of it's not something that will never happen, but what if there was a hybrid model, right? of, you know how the bean pot works, right, and everything like that? What if there was a hybrid model of, in the league, instead of playing 82 games, you play half of that and you have a couple of in-season mini tournaments to get points in the seedings?
No, I don't like that.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
Why do you not like it?
Soccer do.
Because I feel like in little in-season tournaments, just it makes like,
or how about this too?
I feel like it makes winning less important if like you win these little tournaments, right? And then you could say like, oh well, they were the the fucking huck and fuck champions of the world. Like, I don't know. It's
Well, the reason my thing behind this, right, is
I have won the cup if that was the case.
well, yeah, but that's my thing with that is this is just something like this is just to get the voices talking. You know what I mean? This is not something I'm like, oh yeah, like this should happen 100%. Like I'm gonna hate the league if it does. But imagine putting it this way, right? You spread out the games that players are playing. You have a mini tournament between whatever certain conferences, whatever. They play the tournament. They have a little bit more rest after tournament. It gets that playoff vibe because even if a shitty team wins that little mini tournament, now they're like they can hold on to that during the season. That's going to give them better seeding before you get to playoffs.
Seeding doesn't matter
points.
Really.
No, but like to get in, it does. Like if you're a bottom barrel team, like even if it's not during the season, what if instead of towards the end of the season, right, to give players more rest? If you're already in the playoffs, you're done. Your season's over, and the teams that are fighting for the bottom, right? So like if you're already in the playoffs and there's 15 games left to go, you clinched a spot. If you're in the top 6, you're locked in. And then the teams 7 and 8, and then the 4 teams chasing them play like a double eliminate round robin tournament for the rest of the year to get into the playoffs. They have a play-in tournament to get into the actual playoffs. What would you do about that? Like, would you think about that?
Like a wild card round, kind of.
Almost, yeah. Like it would be like a play-in tournament. So like your 7th seed, your 8th seed, your 9th, 10th, or even just 9th and 10th would all play each other in both conferences. And would play like a mini, like you play everybody once, and then the best 2 records go head to head in like a best of 3 to get into the playoffs. And then every other team the top 12 teams that are already locked in, they get rest while that's going on, and they can prepare for who they're gonna play, or they can prepare to like get back into the season to get ready for like the playoffs. So that way, like every team's rested, like. You don't have to worry about like the 6 seed fighting like all the way through. There's just like a cutoff date by this date. Top 1 through 6 are in each conference. The rest of the teams are playing a playoff tournament.
But
I think that would be more entertaining for like the teams that are on the cusp, because you'll have those fans being like, oh, it's a playoff. Like we're playing to get into the playoffs. Like that's kind of cool. Instead of just being like, oh, like if they make the playoffs, I'll watch them. If they don't, I will. Like that. I feel like a lot of people like those tournament settings in those sports. And like I think regular season is starting to become less and less popular than it used to be in a lot of sports. And I think we can see a couple of our leagues changing from that format coming very soon. I think it's kind of boring for people.
I feel like hockey though is one of those sports where if you add a play-in tournament, that only hurts the teams that have done well.
Yeah.
Because it's different from like basketball. Like if you did a play-in tournament for basketball, people could just, lace them up and just go play basketball. But I feel like, of course, like you can practice, but you're not getting in-game skate. So if you have 4 teams that are doing the in-game tournament for like a week, and then you just have a complete week off, like teams, even though those teams aren't as rested, it doesn't help the teams that aren't playing in the first place.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like you get like a week of rest while this is going
David.
on. Like those teams are getting a week of rest while this is going on, while those teams are probably going to be beat up at the bottom of it, right? You have a well-rested number 1 seed who's been a train the whole season. They're going to run through the 7th and 8th seed. Because those teams are going to be tired. They're going to be like, they might be on fire, but like, hey, that's going to be more entertaining for the league. The goal is not to like be fair to people there. It's to give competitive integrity and make it as competitive as possible, as long as possible.
True. What were you saying, Bob?
I was going to say the whole thing about what did you just say about the best team winning it? or getting the break, exactly.
Yeah, getting the break.
The Bees had the break last year. They had the week off, and they were still banged up when it came to playing the Blues. So I don't think for hockey, I think it is get on the ice, get on the ice, get on the ice.
Yeah.
No matter what. Bergeron played with what? One lung in 2012, 13 Stanley Cup.
Monster.
Campbell, God forbid, love the guy. For 4 minutes or 3 minutes on the penalty kill with a broken leg. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, just dragging across the ice like.
What a sick fucking puppy.
Like, players will play no matter what. They don't care. Yeah. It's not like baseball. They will play.
But that's what I think. I think it's just one of those things where having this play-in tournament, right? I like hockey. I watch it year-round. I watch the playoffs, right? But for some, like, think of the casual fan from Florida, right? That they're trying to get into that market, and they find out that, like, they're on the cusp of making the playoffs. They have a small mini tournament that then people that don't watch hockey can be like, yeah, I'll watch a tournament. Like, we'll see what this is all about, right? They'll watch the tournament and be like, holy crap, this team's making a run. They got into the playoffs. Now they're locked in for the playoffs. Instead of, like, you have these regular season games to which 80% of the NHL fans deem as pointless anyway. They're just like, I don't really care about the regular season. I want to wait till we get to the playoffs. It's like you have that. It almost keeps those team on edge too, because then let's say like a team is like
about
in
regular season when I'm at the bars drinking beers.
Exactly, but like now,
yes,
now what that does
is
now you can't coast because if you coast and you somehow get a 7th seed, right? Like you're just coasting, and now you have to play a play-in tournament, and if you lose in that playoff tournament, now you don't even make the playoffs. You could be the 7th seed and miss the playoffs. Like 7th seed all year round, play the playoff tournament and miss the playoffs if you get caught slacking. So teams are going to try harder in the regular season to not get in that bottom 4. They're going to want to be in the top 6. And I think like that's a cool change. Like I think we've talked about this before, but like I think other teams are going to start making those changes because of the fact that like people, like especially with baseball, we've seen that model. Like more regular season games does nothing for anybody. And like the longer NBA and NHL state, like the NFL is successful because of 1 game a week. People don't have the attention span to watch 82 games a week, 82 games a year, especially with multiple different sports that they like. Like if you like basketball and hockey, you just don't have enough time to watch basketball, hockey, playoff baseball, and football all at the same time.
It's legit too many games.
Yeah,
David Pastrnak every day.
That's what I'm saying. But if you want to watch the Celtics on top of that.
Bobby, you could watch yourself play with yourself all day too.
Bubba, get over here and I'll fight you.
I just think,
Bobby,
man,
play me in golf, $100 a hole.
Oh boy,
120.
$100 a hole.
120. Do I hear 140?
I'm hearing 160.
I heard 160.
Bubba, I'll play you $100 a hole, but I gotta.
Bobby, you want to play $160 a hole?
Bubba, play me on 250, the Old Salem Greens, right now.
250 a hole.
Light up ball. 280.
You don't have
280.
All right, 300 fly at a hole. We're playing old.
Bubba froze because of the amount of shit that was going on there.
Oh my bad. I said you're fucked. 300 a hole. You're fucked at Salem. Bro, I've been playing like the fucking hardest courses in Mass the last few weeks. I'm gonna walk into Salem like it's a fucking playpen.
Nothing like
I'm gonna go fucking
the ocean
6 under and just
Bubba's
sink
playpen
you
around me. Okay,
I might just give you a hole because I feel bad.
I'll give you 3.
We're setting up. We're setting up the greatest golf match round 3.
The match.
Phil and Tiger. We need Bubba and Bob.
I'm down for this. Like if somebody wants to caddy for me, I'm there.
Me and Cam will be like Tom Brady and Peyton.
We'll just film it. We'll just hand off the torch. Like
we gotta give Dan the intern some recording rights. He's got to record
that
stuff,
motherfucker needs to get to work.
Yeah, he's got to do shit. He's already gonna record for us. He's gonna. We've talked about this. We've talked about the stumble. When Salem opens again and like all the bars open next semester, like he's literally going outside of like Village Tavern and shit and like recording people like after like asking them sports questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking be there.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna interview me walking out.
You'd be like,
Yeah, mom.
Hey, Brady, you're on this week's
I'm
Stumble.
Dude, I'm getting fucking going, kid.
Power.
What? All you have to do is find some
I have
drunk
the
guy.
power.
You have to find some drunk townie at one of these places and just be like, "So, what do you think about Tom Brady?" Oh, fucking Tom Brady, dude, he's a
Dude, I would
traitor.
suck his
I
cock.
can't believe he would leave
in
us,
Harvard
dude.
Yard.
It's like fucking.
Yeah, because they all sound like that.
But
we've lived our whole life knowing all that's absolute garbage bins, but we'll still live the stereotype.
that's fine. So Brady, you want to kick us off? We're gonna wrap up today's episode with a little bit of a dad joke and dad advice. I got my dad advice too.
Yeah, drop your advice and then I'll drop my joke as we normally do.
So my dad advice is another stock related thing. It's not really a dad advice. I think it's just becoming a stock update at this point because that's really all I'm doing. But I was making a killing off of Norwegian Cruise Line. I bought it at about $10 a share, bought 50 shares of them, and they're now at $24 a share. So I'm making some good money on that. Do that quick math.
I might invest in the airlines, bro.
Dude, you're way too late for that. You should have done it months ago.
Way too late.
That's when I did Norwegian. I did it like 2 months ago when they were cheap, and I got JetBlue 2 months ago, and that went up like crazy. So, dad advice of this week's episode is please, if you are going to invest, I'm not a fucking financial advisor, but if you are going to invest what you're willing to lose only. And I would seriously recommend looking into some of the travel companies like Norwegian Cruise. If you're going to do cruises, do Norwegian. If you're going to do flights, do either Spirit or JetBlue.
I need to
Because
pull
those
out
things are going to be
Bitcoin,
insane.
Bro. It's like a dirty hooker. I need to pull out of it.
But that's my dad advice for the week. And also, my another dad advice of the week is make sure you turn off the propane tank after you're done grilling on the weekends.
Or another good one. Hey, I just asked you to wash my car, right? I'm going to give you a few dollars so you can go out with your friends. The least you can do is wrap the hose back up. You know what I mean? It's like you're going out there and you're not just like you're cleaning my car and I'm paying you to do it. So the least you can do is, wrap the hose, right? All right.
Brady, dad joke of the day. Kick us off or end
so
us
before
off.
I say my dad joke, I want to say thank you to Bubba and Bob for being on the show.
Excuse me.
Thanks to the people for the merch too.
We didn't talk about golf yet, motherfucker.
We got the reoccurring guests. We'll be back, Bob.
I need a better mic. Someone.
Yeah, exactly. Bob needs a better mic.
Hey, if you guys, we'll put it this way: if you guys buy our merch, we will use some of that money to buy Bobby a better mic.
How about that?
Invest people.
Now here we go. Here we go. You guys ready for my You ready for my dad joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired.
Yeah.